Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So excited to be back with you all tonight. And I have a very, very special guest. Been super excited to do this interview for a very long time. I would like to introduce to you one of my besties, Joslyn Britten, who is the owner and operator of Joshua 19 Clothing. Welcome, Jocelyn.
For
Yay.
having me, Kendra.
And so, I asked Jocelyn to hop on live with me and kind of, talk about what that journey looked like. So, bringing a dream to reality and everything else that comes with it. So, feel free to join the conversation, hop in the comments, ask your questions, and just join along with us. So we got one person. Hey, Leah. Hey, girl.
Lately.
So yeah, Jocelyn, let's get started. Just take us back to the beginning. Like, when was this even just when did you even first have the desire to get into apparel and Christian apparel in particular?
Um, it started for me a while ago. It's back in our college days, our Ball State days. Go Ball State! And so it went back to those days, and I really was thinking about wanting to do something that would reflect faith, not be overly um, uh, pushy, but yet something that was fashionable that people may be able to ask questions to you about, and you can be able to give an answer, and it may start a good conversation, or just something positive that you would wear every day or every now and again. So I was really looking for something that was simplistic in that nature, and it all started back in the day. So as it progressed forward, if you didn't know, I already owned another clothing company before this, and I called it Ezra Clothing Company, and that was the infancy, that was the beginning. And so I started with that, and I really wanted to push it, in broader terms online. But what I wound up doing was doing a lot of one-on-one sales. So I did a lot of conferences, and I did a lot of bonanzas and bazaars. I did all kind of concerts. I sold at different concerts and things of that nature. I mean, you were there.
I
You
was.
needed. You need. It was a labor. It was a labor intensive. There was mannequins. There were displays and banners and things of that nature. So we really got started. At least I got started in the game, in the t-shirt game, in that type of venue. So I really just kind of had a heart to do something that was kind of positive, that I could really be proud of at the end of the day. Make a couple of dollars here and there. I wasn't too much thinking about it being something that would take over my life, but something that I just did on the side that I enjoyed doing, and that's what Ezra became.
So you
Um,
said around college. So about like what age? Because college could be what, 18 to
oh,
22.
jeez, you're trying to age me, Kendra. Let me
Yeah.
see. 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Is that college days?
And so at the
Yeah.
time, like, did you know anything about the business you were trying to get into?
Um, Not really. I knew business kind of. I did have a business degree, or at least I was in the business college at the time, and so I figured, hey, this might not be all that hard. So I don't know that I knew exactly what I was getting into when I decided to do this. So I had some knowledge about screen printing, but I had very little knowledge. And at that time, t-shirts were made primarily through screen print. There's new technology or newer technology that came out around that time, but it wasn't the go-to, that everyone was using. And so I didn't have all of the pieces put together, but I kind of learned a lot as I went along. So I learned pretty much the business. I learned the business side of it. I understood how design work happened, and who to bring in. And I had a lot of contacts for there were screen printers, and I can get things made in a certain amount of time. So I kind of did a lot of learning on the way. So I would suggest that anybody that wants to get into a business, I don't know that everything is going to be set up where you know everything ahead of time. You're not going to know all the steps. But I would say that if you have a desire to do it, then do it. Do as much research as you can, and then start small and see if you can't build from there and learn from the situation as it goes forward.
And so, how long was it? Because you mentioned your first apparel company was Ezra Clothing Company.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long was it be, between the idea phase to the actuality phase?
Mm. To the second clothing company or the first?
The first one.
Oh, the first one.
Mhm.
Um, had to be maybe 3 years, 4 years, something like that. I had wrote some stuff down. I had a little journal, and I kind of wrote down some steps or some goals to kind of reach. And it took me some years to be able to do it. Again, I was in school, and so I wanted to wait until I got out of school and I had steady income and things of that nature. So I had to wait a little while to put it on the back burner. But when I was ready to launch, I was ready to launch, and so I had my ducks in a row, and I had a launch party and the whole nine. You were there too.
I
Yeah.
would.
And
I
so,
would.
so it had a launch party and everything. And so it took me about 3 or 4 years from thought to actual implementation.
And then, was it any, like, I guess, any stimulus, any life moment that, kind of triggered that thought, like, okay, now is the time. This is, I'm going to launch, I'm going to get, I'm moving it from paper, to actually trying to get this thing off the ground.
I think I found out quite quickly in working in corporate America that things are not always certain. You cannot always rely on any of the things that people put a lot of stock in. And so I said, if I'm going to do something like this to supplement my income, I need to do it now, like while I have a job. While I have a job. And so I was like, you know what, let me move forward with this sooner than later. And sure enough, soon after that, the corporate job started getting shaky. And so I was like, well, it's a good thing I started this at this time. And so I kind of felt like it was one of those things. It was a wake up call when I was having my normal 9 to 5 that things aren't always what they seem. And even though you feel like you're on stable, solid ground, that may not always be the case. So I decided that there is no good time to start a business. So start it now.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward a little bit to, now Ezra is a thing. Ezra is alive. Ezra has been birthed. And I know you mentioned, just learning a lot along the way and how it didn't look like how at least you imagined it. So you kind of had to pivot. Like, do you remember anything about, your mental state or what was going on in your mind at that time?
With Ezra, I do remember close towards the end. It's kind of one of those kind of life cycles of a business. In the beginning, it was excitement. In the middle, it was like, okay, I'm good. Towards the end, I felt like I was somewhat exhausted. Like it was not an easy task to do. And you were the person who did everything. You had to make all the contacts. You had to set up a website. You had to do a Facebook page. You had to reach out to people. You had to find a screen printer or a designer if you want to do that, or design it yourself. You had to, there was a lot of steps to it that you had to handle. The banking part of it, the accounting part of it, keeping things up and putting on your taxes. I mean, so when you think about it, and by and large, it was difficult to just juggle it all myself. So I think eventually my mental state kind of got to the point where it was like, you know what, this is a bit much. So I kind of backed away from Ezra for a while.
And how
Is that
long
going to
were you
pre?
doing it before you had to, kind of start backing away?
It was about 5 years or so. That was about 5 years is about my limit in which I could take. And I honestly, when I closed Ezra down, I said to myself, I will never do this again. I said, I'll never open up another shirt company. I may do things for people on the side, but even then I was a little shaky about that. I was like, but this, you know what, is ran its course. At least that's what I thought.
Oh, okay. So was it mainly because that kind of one woman show, like it's just me, I can't do all of this, is plus a full time job on top of that, like
And plus a full-time job on top of that. So I had quite a few things to juggle. So I had a 9 to 5, and I had to do this after work and then on the weekends. And so it was like, about how much do you really want to commit to this further? And I was like, well, I've done all I could. It had its time in the sun. Now it's time to put it to bed or put it to rest. And at least that's what I felt at the time.
okay, so you had this dream, you brought it to reality, pat on the back, kudos to me. Okay, I tried it, I gave it a good run, it didn't quite work out, on to the next.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, now you have another clothing company. So when
Yeah.
did you kind of start to feel that pull back into the apparel industry?
It is rough how you think you close the door on something and then it jars itself somewhat open slightly, and you think, I'm not going to go back through that door, but then somehow you slither back in to the area you said you would never go back into. And so I think what changed is, or the timing of it all, around I want to say the ending of 2020. And I'm not going to say it's pandemic related. I'm not for sure that, but all I know is that around that time I had a hankering to start something creative again. And I said, maybe I'm not so much done with this. And I started having different ideas of designs that I could possibly make. And I was like, but I'm not restarting Ezra. I'm not doing that. And so I fought the feeling for about a couple of months. And then I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, either I'm going to commit like I did with Ezra to it completely or not. And so I kind of came to a place of a point of decision, whether I was going to start something back up or not. But then I said, you know what? I don't have to make it the same that I made it before. This can be on my conditions. And this is going to be how I'm going to do this. And so I said, well, you know what? If I'm going to do this again, then these are the things that I'm going to do this time around. And so when I implemented Joshua 1:9, it was set to be completely different than Ezra. Like from how it's ran to how it's organized to how much I'm involved in it, and what kind of things I'm willing to manage. And I said, if I can do those things, if I can look into those things. So I did some more research into the clothing industry and see what kind of things that have come along since I began Ezra. So as I started to look, I was like, you know what? There's ways of doing this 10 times easier than it was back in the day. So I said, well, you know what? Let me try this again. I can keep it hands off in some areas that I was too invested, and not stress myself out. But if I'm going to do it again, it's not going to be under the same brand. It's not going to be under the same logo. It's not going to be under the same anything. I'm going to start completely fresh. And
Yeah,
so, go ahead.
yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, so what inspired like the name change? Like, why not it still be Ezra Clothing 2.0? Why just a whole new name, brand, logo, vision?
It comes from Joshua 1:9, the scripture, and that's actually my favorite scripture. Um, it says, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord God is with you wherever you go. And I feel like it was a transitional scripture. That's really what it stands for me. Um, because everybody makes transitions in life, whether you are starting a new job, whether you're moving on the other side of the country, whether you're starting a family, buying a house, whatever it is. You have to make these steps in life that sometimes are give you tribulation, or that thought that I should draw back. And so, from Ezra to Joshua was that transition for me. It was a closing of one door and the opening of another door, in a way of being that I was going to be, or how I was going to run this company. And so it really illustrated everything, that I was that I was planning for. That this would not be a fearful experience. This will not be a discouraging experience. I'm just going to do this. And I heard a minister once say, he said, "You got to dress blessed." And I said, that's good. He said, when you get up in the morning, you got to have a mindset that you are already blessed. You got to clothe yourself that you already blessed, so that whatever obstacle you come across that day, God's with you. He got you. So I feel like this is a representation physically of the spiritual principle that he got you wherever you go. Don't be discouraged. Don't be afraid. Just go. So Joshua, even though it doesn't always have, the design doesn't always say something about, being courageous or being fearless. Some of them do, some of them don't. But it's just the idea of the brand is, I wear this, I'm dressing blessed that this day, nothing gonna bother me. So that's kind of how the name change came about.
Okay, and so like, even how long have you been back up and running? I know you said the end of 2020 is when you kind of start to get that creative itch. So this
Mhm.
has to be fairly new then.
Oh yeah, yes. Um, Even though the running of the business might be a little easier, the starting of it was not necessarily. There's a lot of steps in between starting it and implementing it and launching it, and then you can maybe able to sit back and do only certain things. So I had to find the right e-commerce platform. I had to do a lot of research on drop shipping and print on demand companies that will print products for you. I had to find the one that fit me best. I had to get samples. I had to then find a designer. Then I had to find what I was willing to design and what they weren't, what I wasn't willing to, pay someone for. Then I had to figure out, um, do I need to buy another website? And so I had to buy another web hosting site. And so there was a lot of steps in between, and I didn't want to rush it. I didn't want to feel like I was rushing. I was up against the gun. Nobody really knew I was doing this anyway, so it wasn't like I had this tremendous pressure on me. So I said, I'm gonna just take my time, find the things and the avenues that I want to do, and just do it over time. And so it took a while. It took some months. So I had this thought around the end of December, beginning of January, and I just got around to launching at the end of July, August. So yeah, thank you. And I had to continue to make things like the Facebook website or Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, those little things, the little details you kind of forget about when you're doing all the other things. So so that's up, you know, and you can subscribe to the newsletter for it. And go ahead.
No, no, I was gonna say because you were breaking up a little bit.
Oh,
I think you're good now. So yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So I had to just remember the little things, and I have something on my screen just popped up. So I had to remember the little things, and so Facebook pages, Instagram, that wasn't a thing. When I started Ezra, it wasn't Ezra. There was no Instagram then. I don't believe that there was, at least not when I first thought of it. So the social media platforms, all those things, I had to slowly start to build, and it had to be last on the plate before you had to get your infrastructure right. You had to get your foundation right before you started building on top of it. And so those things kind of came later. But so since it's fairly new, I just did the subscription, set up the link so that you can subscribe to any new information that's coming out for the company, any new designs or new lines, possibly, such as the fall line. I understand that it is getting colder Midwest people. And so I wanted there to be hoodies, long sleeve shirts, things of that nature to be able to get. Yeah, I've just been working towards really reestablishing myself in this industry.
Yeah, so is it better this time? I know you are, I'm sure, a lot more prepared than you were round one, but is it going
Yes,
better
yes.
for
Oh, it's going a lot better than it was last time. At least just with the implementation of the design itself, just to not have to be a part of that process. And you can nowadays hire anyone to do anything for you uh, at the drop of a dime. There's so many communities of people who are willing or able or have companies set up just to do certain things for other companies and drop and ship it, drop print on demand
you?
companies are popping up like wildfire, and you can find one that fits your needs that you can easily either integrate or manually enter orders into. And so those things, it just takes a load off. I don't have to worry about inventory. I don't have to worry about keeping a whole bunch of things in my house.
Yeah.
That's both good and bad because some people they just rather you just give it to them. But at the same time, you can lead them to a place. Most people shop online, and if they can buy it online, they can have it in 3 days. So three to 4 days. So
Right. Well, you mentioned the website, so we'll go ahead and, take a look at that. Make sure you guys visit, check it out, see if it's something you like. And if it is something you like, make sure to buy it. That's the most important part. So, do you want to kind of maybe, and I'll scroll as you're doing it, kind of just walk us through
mhm.
a little description of the shirts?
Sure. The first one is pretty much it's a good logo shirt. I feel like it kind of gets across the company name. So I wanted to find some sort of creative thing to do with the name itself, and so abbreviated Joshua to Josh. And low key, most people in my family call me either Joss or Josh. And so even typing this stuff up was very difficult not to put my own name, put my own name in it. And it was like, wait, no, this is Joshua, not me. But yeah. So that's the first logo shirt. The second one is just for your music enthusiasts, people who love Jesus music, gospel rap, gospel or just Christian music. I don't care if it's elevation worship to um, Lecrae. Whatever floats your boat. If you like that stuff, you can rep the shirt. Comes in three different colors: blue, black, and gray. So it basically says, Jesus music enthusiast. So I thought that was a good idea. Um, Third and fourth one here. It's mostly about how we all are with social media, and a lot of people do things for the wrong reasons. But you have the kingdom. Um, in the fourth one here, it says God is good. It's kind of a play on words. Um, there's that one in the one. Scroll down one more. No God, no problems. This kind of floats into the vibe of Joshua. Is moving forward. You got to know that He's with you, so you don't have those types of problems. Whatever it is, you can work it out. This other one, this Conqueror, is one of the more recent ones that came out. I dropped this a couple of weeks ago. Put this on the website, so it just kind of speaks to it all. I mean, if you're a conqueror, you're a conqueror wherever you go. So you can rep the shirt and be like, "That's how I am right now. That's how I feel." I feel swole on it. So Conqueror. The last one here is, sometimes people just underestimate the way someone looks. I'm stronger than I look. I'm fearless by design. Basically, I'm made to be this way. I'm made to be fearless. So don't be deceived. I may not look like what I am, but trust me, I am. So that's really the gist of the designs we have right now. As new designs come out, we may, at least I may scale back some of the older designs as I move forward. There's about 2 additional designs in the workings. So I'm gonna try to get those made by the end of the year. Towards
So
younger
we had
audience.
a question from Leah. Leah says, so is your clothing line targeted toward a younger audience, hence Joshua generation? What age would that be?
That is exactly my idea. Joshua in the Bible, at least scripturally, took over from Moses, and he represented the generation of those who kind of moved past the point of the wilderness. They moved out of the place that they had been wandering around for like 40 years. And Joshua was like, look, it's time to go over. It's time to go. And so Joshua, in a lot of ways, you can reference this in so many different ways, but that is one of the key items to it. Yes, we're trying to move forward and reach a new generation of people who are conquerors, people who are going to say, I'm not going to walk around in the wilderness like the people of old or people before me. Or you can look at it as, we had a good firm foundation as generational people, but it's still time to move on to bigger things. It doesn't mean that there was something wrong with the generation before, but we have to continue to move on and to be who God called us to be as a generation of people. So yes, I do feel like it was targeting a younger audience. However, if you want if you want to buy Joshua 1-9 clothing at whatever age you are, absolutely. You can buy anything you like. I don't care if you're 50 or 5. Well, if you're 5, get permission from your parents. Do not use their credit or debit card. But it doesn't matter to me, how old you are, just as long as you're willing to step out there and rep the wear. I'm fine with it.
And Kim says these are awesome designs. Way to go, Joslyn.
Stop it. Thank you.
So I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but we definitely want to give you time to plug. So again, where can we find Joshua 1-9? Where can we keep up with what's going on with the brand, with the company? Mm-hmm. Where do we need
to? Best place right now, you can go first to our Facebook page. You can always like the page, follow the page where there's new posts come out. You can also subscribe to the newsletter on the Facebook page. You should be able to search Joshua 1-9 clothing. I believe Joshua 1-9 clothing. You should be able to search it and find the page if you need to look for it. Also, you can go to the website as it's posted here, joshua19clothing.com. You can go there and buy anything. You can sign up for the newsletter as well there. And I'll always try to keep you informed. And I'm not going to be one of those people that overbearing you with emails. Like you have one once a day or twice or 3 times. I won't do that to you. I have been on the other side of that, and I don't want you to unsubscribe. So I'm just going to send you periodic things to let you know that there's something new. Check it out. So by all means, go there as many times as you want. Tell your friends, tell your family. Go check it out. And all shipping is done through a secondary company, but it should be there within 2 to 3 or 4 or so 2 to 4 business days after ordering. You can pay quick pay with Google Pay or your debit card information. Those are the only 2 options I have right now. As things become more available, that's one of those things I update you on in the newsletter, different ways of paying. So absolutely, go check it out.
Well, thank you so much, Joslyn. I really enjoyed this. It's definitely some nuggets in this interview that I'm going to go back and listen to. Again, everybody, go check out Joshua 1-9 Clothing. Visit the website. Visit the Facebook page. I will update the description of this video with all of that information. Go follow, subscribe, like, share, do all the things. And like you said, if you saw something you like, go make a purchase. Thank you to everyone watching. Thank you to everyone who joined us in the comments. I really appreciate it. And until next time, you guys have a good night.
Thank you.